My sister sent me 4 words that knocked the wind out of me. Don't come to the wedding. I stared at the screen, still clutching the receipt for the last payment I'd made, part of the $100,000 I'd spent creating her perfect day. The venue, the flowers, the band, every single detail, because she said she needed me there. But it wasn't that text alone that broke me. It was what came next. My mother's explanation, the planner's silence, and the hidden discovery tucked inside the contracts. That's what changed everything. And when I finally used it, nobody saw it coming. My name is Amanda Cole. Most of my life, I've been the one everyone relied on to get things done. Not because anyone praised me or loved me more. It was a role quietly assigned, like giving chores to the kid who won't complain. Growing up in Spokane, I realized early that calmness wasn't a personality trait in my family. It was a survival skill. My mother, Helen, always said I was steady, the kind of daughter who didn't need constant checking on. My younger sister, Lily, was the opposite. Sensitive, delicate, easily rattled. Fragile. They called her as if she were made of glass, while I was the towel wrapped around her. While Lily was fussed over, soothed, protected from anything remotely uncomfortable, I navigated my own way to elementary school, filled out my own field trip forms, microwaved instant noodles for dinner. Mom was busy driving Lily to yet another art class she would quit 2 weeks later. Dad, Rob, loved us both but stayed out of emotional matters. If Mom made a call, he backed it with silence. His quiet said, "Don't expect me to pick a side." By adulthood, the pattern was set. Lily didn't just expect help. She lived in a world where it was guaranteed. I existed in the one next door, where needing anything was always an inconvenience. So when she got engaged to Connor, tall, charming, the kind of guy who looked perfect on paper, I wasn't surprised my mother called me that same night. She didn't ask about my day or how work at the healthcare firm was going. She went straight to business. "Amanda, Lily's wedding is finally happening. She wants it to be beautiful. You're so good at managing things." That marked the start of 6 months of invoices, deposits, design calls, mood boards, vendor emails, and endless planner drafts. I covered the dress fee. Lily wept tears of joy across the ballroom, spinning in place with her phone, whispering, "This is it." The imported flowers, the ones she'd always dreamed of holding. Every bill, every payment had passed across my laptop under the warm glow of my Seattle apartment kitchen lights. And I truly believed it was worth it. I believed I was finally doing something that mattered to someone who had rarely seen me. But just when everything seemed perfectly in place, just when I thought I'd bought a little piece of my sister's happiness, something shifted. So small it almost felt accidental. Almost. It began with tiny details, so minor that if I mentioned them aloud, I'd sound paranoid. A planner forgetting to CC me on a call. A florist seeking Lily's final approval, even though I'd paid the invoices. A band coordinator emailing her directly instead of me. At first, I brushed it off. People get busy. Mistakes happen. Then there was Patricia Connor's mother. We'd met once on a video call about the rehearsal dinner. She smiled politely, but her eyes sharpened whenever I spoke, as if she were trying to gauge exactly where I fit. At one point, she said, "We want the ceremony to feel peaceful, simple, no stress." She lingered on the word peaceful, almost like it was meant for me rather than the logistics. I didn't realize the significance then. Later, it became painfully obvious. About a week after that call, I noticed the planner stopped updating the shared folder. The documents remained, but all new decisions were happening elsewhere. I sent 2 brief, neutral emails. She replied once, "We'll keep Lily closely looped in." Closely looped in. As if Lily had suddenly become the project manager. Then the questions stopped coming to me entirely. Lily started acting oddly too. Short texts, delayed responses, no more excited voice memos about desserts or tablecloth colors. One afternoon, I called to ask if she wanted help reviewing seating charts, something she had previously begged me to do. She sighed. "Let me think about it," she said, and hung up before I could respond. For someone who used to call me crying over a chipped nail, it felt like whiplash. The real shift hit the week before the wedding. I was at my Seattle kitchen table, going over final payments when Lily's name lit up my phone. I smiled, expecting a thank you or a last-minute question. Instead, a text appeared, so blunt it felt unreal. Don't come to the wedding. I reread it 3 times, hoping for context, an apology, a joke, something. Nothing. I called her. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. Finally, I texted what's going on. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, reappeared, then vanished again. 20 minutes later, Mom called. Amanda, she said softly. That same tone she always used when she needed something. Don't take it personally. Patricia wants to avoid tension. You know how direct you can be. Lily just wants everything to go smoothly. I felt heat surge up my neck. I had quietly paid for everything. You're the strong one, Mom said. Do you understand? There it was. That familiar line. The sentence that excused everything. I hung up before she could finish. The rest of the night, I sat alone in my dimly lit kitchen, staring at the contracts open on my laptop. I should have felt heartbroken, furious, or humiliated. Instead, I felt something sharper, clarity. As I traced the lines of each document, one detail pulsed like a beacon I had never noticed before. Every contract, every agreement, every single payment, everything was under one name. Mine. I didn't sleep. I remained in my kitchen, the glow of my laptop casting light across the room, while the steady Seattle rain tapped against the window. Wedding contracts sprawled across my screen. Payments, bills, emails, timelines. I had seen them 100 times before, but never like this. Never with the understanding that I had been erased from the very event I had built. My hands were unervingly steady. I opened the venue agreement first, scanning down lines I had skimmed months ago. And there it was, bold and almost smug in its simplicity. Primary signer, Amanda Cole. Cancellation rights reserved exclusively for the signer. I leaned back, a cold calm settling in. Thicker than anger, heavier than hurt. It wasn't rage. It was the recognition of power I hadn't realized I still possessed. My phone buzzed on the counter. Mom again. I let it ring. I opened the catering agreement. Same pattern. Signer, me. The florist, me. The band, me. The decor team, me. The transport service, me. The photo booth, me. Everywhere Lily had dreamed of walking down in white, the authority didn't belong to her. It belonged to me. My pulse finally picked up, but not from fear. From something closer to awakening. At 12:47 a.m., I drafted a new email. Hello, Kimberly. I typed to the venue coordinator. As the signer on this event, I am formally requesting cancellation, effective immediately. I paused, breathed, and hit send. One email, then another, to every vendor, every coordinator, every contact who had ever called me the responsible sister. I quietly covered every expense myself. You're the strong one, Mom said. Do you understand? There it was, that old line, the one that excused everything. I hung up before she could say more. For the rest of the night, I sat alone in my dimly lit kitchen, staring at the contracts open on my laptop. I should have felt heartbroken, furious, humiliated. Instead, I felt something sharper, clarity. As I traced the lines of each document, one detail stood out, pulsing like a beacon I had never noticed before. Every contract, every agreement, every payment. It was all under one name. Mine. I didn't sleep that night. The glow from my laptop was the only light in the kitchen, the steady Seattle rain tapping against the window. Wedding contracts were sprawled across my screen. Payments, invoices, emails, timelines. I'd seen them countless times, but never like this. Never realizing I had been erased from the very event I had built. My hands were unervingly steady. I opened the venue agreement first, scanning the text I'd skimmed months ago. And there it was, bold and almost smug in its simplicity. Primary signer, Amanda Cole. Cancellation rights reserved exclusively for the signer. I leaned back in my chair. A cold calm washed over me. Heavier than anger, deeper than hurt. It wasn't rage. It was the recognition of power I hadn't realized I still held. My phone buzzed on the counter. Mom again. I ignored it. I opened the catering agreement. Same story. Signer, me. The florist? Me. The band? Me. Decor team? Transport? Photo booth? Me. Every single document, every imagined corner of Lily's perfect day. The authority didn't rest with her. It rested with me. My pulse picked up, not from fear, but from something close to awakening. At 12:47 a.m., I drafted a new email. Hello, Kimberly. As the official signer on this event, I am formally requesting cancellation, effective immediately. I paused, breathed, and hit send. One email, then another, then another. Every vendor, coordinator, contact who had ever praised me as the responsible sister received the same message. The responses arrived faster than I expected. Receive, understood. Refund will be processed per policy. Thank you for notifying us, Amanda. No questions, no hesitation. Because I wasn't asking. I was exercising the authority they had always assumed I would never use. Around 2 a.m., I made my first call to the Coastal Catering team. Michael, the manager who had spent weeks crafting Lily's flawless menu, answered, sounding groggy. Amanda, everything all right? He asked. All right. I'm canceling, I said simply. I'm the signer. Please proceed under the contract terms. He exhaled slowly. I figured something like this might happen. We'll take care of it. Next came the florist, then the band, then the transport team. Every call mirrored the first, calm voices, quiet acknowledgments, the soft rhythm of professionals who had handled disasters like this before. By 3:30 a.m., my inbox was overflowing with confirmations. The wedding was unraveling, piece by piece, silently, efficiently, just as I had built it. At dawn, I closed my laptop. Outside, the sky was a pale, silver wash, the kind Seattle gives after a long night. I stood, stretched, and poured a fresh cup of coffee. For the first time in years, my chest felt light. They told me not to attend the wedding. Fine. I wasn't going. I was taking the wedding with me. The morning after I canceled everything, my phone looked like it was melting. Missed calls stacked to the edge of the screen, voicemails piling behind them. I didn't listen to a single one. Instead, I made breakfast as I always did. Eggs, toast, black coffee. The quiet routine steadied me more than any apology could have. Around noon, the first real domino fell. A message from the venue coordinator lit up my phone. Lily and her family arrived, requesting to restore the booking. We informed them the signer must authorize changes. I pictured it perfectly. My mother's smile tightening. Lily's eyes widened. Patricia stepped forward, as if sheer confidence could bend policy to her will. Another email arrived. They're upset. We're following procedure. I set the phone face down. By 3 p.m., the tone had shifted from confusion to panic. Amanda, call me now. Why would you sabotage the wedding? This is humiliating. You're acting unstable. Unstable. The word they used when they couldn't face the truth of their own choices. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop and gathered everything. Emails, receipts, payments, cancellations. Into a single folder labeled records. Evidence, not conversation. At 9 p.m., the doorbell rang. No one ever showed up unannounced. I checked the peephole. Lily. She looked nothing like the polished, curated version of herself the world had seen for years. Frizzy hair, smudged mascara, sleeves stretched out of shape. She wasn't crying. Yeah, but the pressure was building, pulling at the edges. Amanda, she whispered when I opened the door. Please let me in. She perched on the edge of my couch, elbows on her knees, gripping her phone like it was the last tether to anything steady. Why did you do this? She asked. I kept my tone calm. You told me not to come. She shook her head. It wasn't meant literally. Texts are literal, I said. Her gaze dropped. I was stressed. Patricia said it might be calmer if you weren't there. She thinks you're too intense. A small laugh escaped me. Intense. Patricia hasn't seen intense. Lily twisted her fingers. I didn't think you'd react like this. How did you think I'd react? I asked. After paying for everything, she didn't answer. Finally, she murmured, Mom said you wouldn't mind. You're strong. I heard the sentence again, the one they had weaponized against me. I stood. I called because I was the signer, because I was removed, because you expected my money without inviting me. Her chin quivered. We need the wedding back. They said it can't go forward without you. The venue actually told us to contact the signer. They made us wait in the lobby like we didn't belong. I nodded once. That's because you didn't. She blinked rapidly. Amanda, just sign it again. Put it back. Connor's family was furious. You wanted me out, I said. Now you want me back because you need what I provided, not who I am. The doorbell rang again. 3 sharp presses. Lily flinched. I opened it. Mom stepped inside before I could speak, her face taut with a mix of anger and desperation. Behind her, Patricia stood perfectly composed, though her rigid posture betrayed the effort to assert control. Mom started first. Amanda Marie Cole, what is the meaning of this? I folded my arms. The meaning of what? Canceling the wedding, she snapped. You're embarrassing us. You erased me first, I said. Mom waved her hand dismissively. We did what we had to do to keep things peaceful. You broke the peace, I shot back. You removed me from the wedding I paid for. Patricia stepped forward, voice sharp. We needed a harmonious environment. You make things complicated. I stared at her. This is me calm. Completely calm. She hesitated, then recovered. Your behavior confirms our concern. My behavior? I repeated. I sent polite cancellations. Meanwhile, you told everyone I was having a breakdown. Patricia looked away. Mom didn't. Mom crossed her arms. Fix this, Amanda. No, I said simply. Lily's voice trembled. Please. The venue said, you're the only one who can authorize the reinstatement. They said we'd have to ask you. Her voice cracked on the word ask. She wasn't used to asking me for anything except money. Then ask, I said quietly. Ask properly, she swallowed hard. Amanda, please sign it. No. Her knees buckled and she sank into the couch. Mom gasped softly. Patricia stiffened. Why? Lily whispered. Why are you doing this to me? I'm not doing anything to you, I said. I'm doing something for myself. Silence filled the room. Then I delivered the line I'd only rehearsed in my mind. You removed me from your wedding. So I removed your wedding from my name. Mom's breath caught. Patricia went pale. Lily pressed a hand to her mouth, eyes wide, broken. No more calls, I added. No texts. No more hiding behind my generosity as an excuse. Mom reached toward me, but I stepped back. Please leave. They froze, expecting the usual softening, the familiar concession. It never came. Slowly, they drifted out, stunned and defeated, scrambling for a new story to tell the world. When the door clicked shut, I exhaled. Not in triumph, just relief. My life, finally, was mine again. In the days that followed, the chaos over the canceled wedding swirled, louder than anything I'd ever known. Yet my own space grew unexpectedly calm. My Seattle apartment felt lighter, as if stepping away from their expectations had finally opened a window I didn't know had been sealed. Vendors kept sending confirmations, refunds processed, accounts closed, balances settled. Every line confirmed one truth: I had acted within my rights. No drama, no meltdowns. Just a woman reclaiming what she had once given away too easily. For a week, my mother called nonstop. I ignored every ring. Each voicemail grew less angry, more confused, as if she couldn't understand how her daughter, who never resisted, had suddenly learned to stand firm. Where noise had once lived, I found space. I returned to therapy with Dr. Marlene, stepping into her warm office with its quiet clock and soft lighting. For the first time, I didn't speak about Lily or my mother. I spoke about myself, what I wanted, what I no longer needed to prove. It felt strange, but good, like entering a room made just for me. I also joined a Women in Tech mentorship circle. Wednesday nights became the highlight of my week. Women who spoke clearly, asked directly, and didn't shame each other for boundaries. I learned to say no without guilt. I learned to ask for what I needed without shrinking. For the first time, I chose myself. Not out of anger, but out of clarity. A month later, on a quiet Sunday morning, I walked along Lake Union with a cup of black coffee and realized something simple, yet profound. My life finally felt like mine. Not borrowed, not demanded, not shaped by someone else's emergencies. Mine. Eventually, Lily sent a letter, not asking for money, not demanding the wedding back, just acknowledging the damage she'd done and the things she couldn't undo. I didn't rush to forgive. Some things need time, space, and honesty before they can heal. But for once, the choice belonged to me, not an obligation pressed into my hands. And that's the point, isn't it? Boundaries aren't punishments. They are doors you close, so peace has a place to stay. If you've ever carried your family on your back until you disappeared under the weight, share your story in the comments. And if this resonated, don't forget to subscribe for the next one.